Hey guys, unfortunately it's time for another rant, and today I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts on the reveal of the Ben 10 character and the new series that will be coming in 2017. Now, unlike Powerpuff Girls and unlike many other series that have been rebooted, and other upcoming series from Nickelodeon that will be rebooted, this is one of those series that I'm very agitated about at the fact that Cartoon Network is rebooting so early. One of the greatest features of Ben 10, and there are a number of reasons why, Ben 10 is being rebooted. Of course, Ben 10 is a huge merchandise seller, which you have to implement that into their mindset. However, it's still very unnecessary for them to reboot it. Now, Ben 10, I remember as a kid growing up watching this series, and it's funny to see how the logo hasn't changed, but everything else pretty much has at this point. We've seen Ben 10 go from a 10-year-old to a teenager, and the cool thing was that when I was a teenager, he was a teenager. We've seen the crossover between Generator Rex and Ben 10. I think the high points of Ben 10 was just that first generation where he went from a kid to a teenager, and that was a good wrap up, right? There were a good number of cartoons. It was there for a pretty long time. You had a good number of episodes. The character was cool. There were epic scenes. It delved a little deeper than most cartoons did in terms of its lore. It made you believe that the world was actually could be a realistic thing, and was very exciting to come back and watch whenever it was on. Ben 10 is just a really good series. Alien Force was a really good series, and then we had. There was another reboot, right? I could take one reboot, right? I was already against it. We had a reboot, I think, very recently in 2013 or 2012 or 2014. I can't remember what year, but there was already a new Ben 10. What turned me off about the new Ben 10 was that he went back to being 10, and this was literally like a year or two after Teenage Ben 10 or Ben 10 Alien Force had been axed, and that really bothered me. Because what was the point of just... There are shows where you could easily have just filled in a couple of older episodes of Ben 10 between this time, right? You didn't need to go back and have him as a 10-year-old again. There was no reason for it. And I understand they wanted to go back and discover a little more about his Omnitrix and discover more about the characters and, trying to delve deeper into it because they know that they have a little more to explore there, and they can go back and all that stuff, but some things just didn't need to go back and explore. Now, here's my problem with this, because this is the most ridiculous thing, and Ben 10 did have had a bit of character development. That's one thing that I don't think people really understand. Some people really are jumping on the gun with this and saying, another rebooted series. I hate Ben 10. I think Ben 10 was a solid series for the time period it was in. I think that it was great. It was around the same time as Danny Phantom was around. It rivaled that series. They came around, of course, Ben 10 Alien Force, when he became a teenager, came around at the same time that Danny Phantom left, which really filled the void of an action animated series. Of course, you still had Avatar on Nickelodeon, but this was a really good backup, and Ben 10 was good at the time. The problem with this is that we just saw another 10-year-old series about less than a year ago, and this is just coming around the corner, and we already had one of the character designs before, and I was really disappointed in that. This is the next level of disappointment. I have not seen a character that looks this... I don't know. This looks awful. It looks like something that you would find on a web series with a very limited budget, right? It's hard to tell right now what Ben 10 is doing, and I usually give the benefit of the doubt here. However, like I said before, we've seen Ben 10 twice as a 10-year-old. And it's literally only been a decade between both of those. We've literally had two in the past decade. We've had more Ben 10 than we've had Spider-Man. This is insane, right? And now we're getting to this point, and Ben 10's coming around again, and it's unnecessary, especially when you count that there are other cartoons that you could easily jump into. If you want to make a Generator Rex cartoon, you could jump into that. People were really kind of disappointed in the fact that Generator Rex ended, right? There are other areas that they could have jumped into, and some of you guys may say, well, why did you like Powerpuff Girls instead, and why did you like these other shows that are coming back? I believe Powerpuff Girls had enough time difference. We had more than about a decade since the last Powerpuff Girls truly aired, right? And this is just ended. The new Ben 10 as a 10-year-old just ended a year ago. How is this just coming in 2017? I don't understand. This is definitely a money-driven machine. I don't really have any expectation for Ben 10 to be any good, but maybe this will fill the action void. We obviously don't have really an action void, an action animated series, other than some bits of Steven Universe. So Cartoon Network is filling that void that we just don't have in Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network at the time. Guys, what are your thoughts on Ben 10? I'm definitely not excited for it, but I know that this fills a void, and they know that they will probably get merchandise out of it. Hell, we have a lot of kids that enjoy Teen Titans Go, so we might as well stay tuned to find out if ratings are boosting for Ben 10 when it releases. Cartoon Network, yeah, God, dude, what are you doing, Cartoon Network? You had a solid track record. You're going out. You have Powerpuff Girls, and as much people hate it, I think it's still a good show. But if this is the only show that you have in 2017, this is going to be disappointing. You guys need to keep releasing new and original programs, not rehashes. That's one of the things that I was disappointed and worried about with Nick. And if you guys do this will really hurt the resurgence that you guys are starting to bring on. Guys, what are your thoughts? Comment below. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian Swan. Stay tuned for more.